since Friday's show, and we're going to cover it all on the program today. Yeah, here we go. We have got seconds until we go live, and there were so many developments on the Biden document gate over the weekend. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you know, if he were a Republican, he would be resigning by the end of the week. But I'll get into all of this, but I still believe it's only a matter of time before Biden is forced to resign. The stories that are coming out are just too much. Just too much. And it's getting worse every day, you know? Here we go.
To the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yes. Oh, man. What a weekend of news. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Week 2 in the beautiful new studio. And very exciting stuff to talk about today. It's not a good week if your name's Joe Biden. There were so many scandalous updates on the Biden DOCU-GATE scandal over the weekend since we left you on the radio Friday morning. And I'm going to go through them. There are new developments happening. And, you know, these developments, when they come out, that one is worse than the one before. If Joe Biden were a Republican, he would resign by the end of this week. I still believe he will resign. It's only a matter of when. You know, Biden has a couple problems here that are going to prolong this. The main problem he has is that he is corrupt, has been corrupt his entire life, and Biden doesn't even acknowledge that he did something wrong, okay? And, you know, so that's a problem. But there have been several major developments over the weekend that I'm going to get into that are telling us that the end is near. You know, one of them is I talked about this before it happened, but one of them is the Kamala Harris speech yesterday. That was her first attempt at being presidential. And of course, she failed because she's not presidential and she's, you know, as smart as a chipmunk. And she messed up that big moment yesterday. Messed it up big time. We'll get into that. But on Friday afternoon, the cover-up team that the Biden administration put together was exposed. I've got all the details on that I'm going to get into. Also over the weekend, his chief of staff announced that he is leaving the White House after the State of the Union. Now, that's what I want to start on, because this is huge. The media aren't playing it like it's a big story, because, you know, the media, even though they want to have, you know, big stories, they want to be out there, they want to be known, they want to get credit, they want to go viral, most of them are still Democrats. And it's hard for them to see things clearly. But Biden's chief of staff, it's been talked about for the last 2 years that he's the guy that's been running the country. You know, the chief of staff is next to the president, whoever the president is, next to the president, the chief of staff is the most powerful person in Washington, with the exception of Dick Cheney, who was running things when GW was president, right? But any other president, the chief of staff is in charge of everyone and everything. And we've got this senile old coot that's got age-related dementia going on. The chief of staff has basically been running the country. More than basically, has been running the country for 2 years. That's not something you just walk away from. Well, you know, and his excuse is that tired old excuse that they give when you know it's not the real reason. It's exhausting. The job is exhausting. He can't handle it. And he's going to leave after the State of the Union, which is right around the corner. I don't think that's the case. I think Biden's chief of staff is leaving, not just generically because of the document scandal. I think his chief of staff is leaving because he's become a cooperating witness with the special investigator, the special counsel. I think he went to the Justice Department. I think he went to the special counsel and made a deal. And part of that deal is you can't be involved in any scandalous crimes that are going on. And he's getting out of there. After the first break, I'm going to get into some of the details of the new crimes that were uncovered. And there was one that was massive. The cover-up team. The cover-up team is huge. Now, if you don't already, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my podcast. You know, my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, is on all podcast platforms, and you guys can easily find me on YouTube because I get into very deep detail on all of the developments with these things on both my YouTube channel and podcast. And I was podcasting and live streaming on YouTube all weekend long because of these developments. But I'm going to go through them, starting with the cover-up team after the first break. And this is massive. You know, I had that huge story on, if you're on hold, stand by the way, because I want to take calls on this. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your emotional reactions to everything that's going on, your predictions, your reaction to the breaking news. The news really are downplaying this. Now, you know, right now Fox News is in love with covering themselves. You know, they had, sadly, they had an executive pass, and then they had some guy from the weather team get attacked on the subway. So Fox News is going to spend the day talking about crime in New York again. Well, that's an interesting story if you're in New York, but Fox News Channel is not the local Fox News affiliate. They're the national thing, and they shouldn't be focused in on local crime stories. You go to your local news for local crime stories. You go to the national news for the big picture of what is going on. And what has come out over the weekend, and by the way, I'm starting past that Kathy Chung that we talked about on Friday's show. What came out later on Friday, equally as scandalous as that, and there's a long list of people that are facing prison, and a lot of prison time. And the media are talking about local crime on the subway. Well, hey, you know, if I was in New York or going to New York and I was planning my visit, I may be interested in that. But I can't get focused in on that. All right, our number's toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be live all week. On Saturday, Steve and I leave on our Steve Kane Show 2023 MAGA Cruise. And next week will be very good best of shows. But if there are major developments, like a resignation, we can bust in on the air live, no matter where we are on the ocean or where we're docked. We can connect and will be connecting if we have to. But I will certainly be keeping in communication on YouTube through my podcast and everything else next week, because we are in the middle of just humongous developing news. And there's a new scandal with Biden just on the document scandal each and every day. So we're going to take our first break. When we get back, I'll take a call or two, and I'm going to get into the latest developments in this document scandal that came out over the weekend. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. That's right. We'll take our break and be right back. Be right back, guys.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.9 and 106.9.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Oh, you're coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now in Coral Springs, or any lab test now in Boca. Any lab test now in Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call,
store for brands you trust and expert advice. And because we can't wait to meet you, we're giving you extra savings. Text BABY to 42229 for $20 off your in-store purchase of $100 or more. Again, text BABY to 42229 for $20 off. Bye baby. Welcome to parenthood.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like it. Long, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside.
Welcome everyone. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. And everyone like the video. Only a handful of you have liked the video so far. Please like the video. That helps out a lot. Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, just... Well, thank you, Freedom Soup, for the like. I appreciate that, guys. Looks like we got everything set up in our new studio built by SpaceX. I'll probably do a tour after the cruise of the radio station. Let's see here. Here we go.
1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yes, it is. Welcome back, one and all. I am Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I want to talk about Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting. They'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, Tom Laporta will do it. By the way, he covers the entire state of Florida and does every type of roof there is, right? Whatever roofing material that's in existence, he does it. And not just single-family homes, but he does office buildings, commercial property, condominiums, apartments, churches. He has a specialty working with homeowners associations. And he's a Florida roofing and general contractor, which is the highest level of contractor's license in the state of Florida. And he just did a wonderful job rebuilding Steve's house because Steve neglected the leak and it turned into a big problem. You've heard us talk about that a lot. But Tom Laporta, he will transform your home and just do an incredible job. He's a good MAGA guy that you can trust. And how many roofing companies do you hear say, we'll never sell you a roof you don't need? Well, Tom Laporta says it, and he means it. And I've talked to listeners that have told me just that. They thought they needed a new roof. Tom came out and took a look. Other roofers told them they needed a new roof. Tom Laporta came out and looked at it and said, no, you just need a simple repair. One listener who called me had a huge condo association, and they had other roofers come out. They all told them they needed a new roof, which is like a six-figure job on a big condo. Tom Laporta came out and said, no, you just need a simple repair. Is that amazing? I know. It certainly is. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom's cell phone, all right? It's 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. Okay, so let's just go through some of the just major criminal developments in the DOCU-GATE scandal. And it's not a joke. Oh, they found more documents. Let's get a comedian in studio to tell a joke. This is serious business. A story came out Friday afternoon that showed a major cover-up operation that was led by Joe Biden's sister. Now, the Democrats, my whole life, because of Nixon and Watergate, said that the cover-up's worse than the crime. And I don't know if it's worse than the crime. I think the crime can be pretty bad, especially if it's classified information, and we have no idea what the classified information was yet. But we do know that a major cover-up operation was in effect. Listen to this. Biden's 68 days of silence. A group of White House loyalists, including Biden's sister, kept the DOCU-GATE scandal secret for 6 weeks and tried to stop a Justice Department investigation of the matter, and also tried to stop the appointment of a special prosecutor. So that's not just covering up a crime. That is obstruction of justice. Now, Joe Biden's sister is a key figure. I'm going to go through this story. We'll get into the details. Joe Biden's sister has run all of his campaigns way back from when he first ran for the Senate. So she's as deep into Biden's crimes and shady dealings as he is, and Hunter is. And knowing what I know about her, she probably led this team, this obstruction of justice cover-up team. This story, it came out Friday afternoon, and I would like to ask you guys, have you seen it on television yet? Here we are 3 days later. Have you seen it in the television news yet? All right, let's take a call or two. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
I'm in a restaurant.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, you're calling us from a restaurant. Okay, what's on your mind? You're on the air, man. Really? Oh, my goodness. That's the liberal response, people. The liberal response. Well, let me go through it. Nothing you do is going to disrupt us getting the truth out on this. I mean, if you've noticed, the liberal troll activity on the program here has increased significantly in the past week because they want to stop the truth from getting out. We're not going to do that. You're not going to be part of a cover-up here, and you'll only embolden us to get the truth out. Listen to this, okay? So let me get, if you're on hold, stand by. Our number 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Let me go through this. Joe Biden and a small team of trusted advisors. So this story is, and this is in the Daily Mail. This story, I know, isn't it a shame? I got to go to Europe to find out what's going on here. This story shows that Joe Biden personally is involved in this obstruction of justice and cover-up of his crimes. Joe Biden and a small team of trusted advisors, including his sister Valerie, plotted to keep the discovery of classified documents a secret, betting that they could quietly handle the problem without it becoming public knowledge, according to a new bombshell report that came out on Friday. For 68 days, the Biden cover-up team succeeded. Biden and 6 of his closest advisors, all of whom were aware of the initial discovery of classified documents at his fake think tank office and at his home, gambled that they could keep the matter a secret and make a deal with the Justice Department in private that the public would never find out about. They chose to keep silent and try to convince the Department of Justice it was a simple mistake. See, this is called obstruction of justice. And what is it when you're trying to conceal the crime of espionage, of classified documents? That's not just a regular obstruction of justice charge. That's something more, isn't it? They chose to keep silent and try to convince the Department of Justice that it was a simple mistake. And by the way, this is also being reported in the New York Times, all the liberal news that's fit to print, okay? Their plans backfired when CBS News reported on the existence of the Biden documents January 9th, leading to a chain reaction that developed into a full-blown crisis for the White House. Republicans accused him of hypocrisy, blah, blah, blah. Then they go into polling data. But then they go through the people that were involved. The initial discussions on how to deal with the discovery of the classified documents were tightly held by a core group of Biden loyalists, led by the husband and wife team of Bob Bauer, who is Biden's personal attorney, and Anita Dunn, who serves as a senior advisor to the White House. And if you remember, Anita Dunn worked for Obama, remember this? She was in the Obama White House, and she has this bizarre tick of when she talks, her tongue comes out and she licks her lips like a serpent. Remember that lady? That's Anita Dunn. Also in the discussions were Biden's sister, Valerie Owens, White House senior advisor, Mike Donnellan, White House counsel, Stuart D'Leary, and White House lawyer, Richard Saber. But taking the public beating has been White House Press Secretary Jean-Pierre, who's been grilled, blah, blah, blah. So we have this team of 6 people that were involved in a massive cover-up, an obstruction of justice campaign, and also were using their access and positions to try to convince the Justice Department not to investigate. See, now this is why I tell you Biden will resign. Because the story on Friday with the Kathy Chung, the lady with the Chinese name, that indicted Hunter in walking out with the secrets from the Senate building, right? From his dad's VP office. Now we have his sister involved in criminal activity. So we have 2 blood relatives of Joe Biden that don't have the protection that a president has to avoid prosecution. These stories are coming out so that they can put pressure on him to resign. We'll take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again.
This is huge, guys. I mean, this is huge stuff. This is the biggest scandal we have ever dealt with any president in this country. It really is. There's never been something even close to as scandalous as this. Well, thank you, Rome. Yeah, please, guys, subscribe, like the video. Those likes help a lot. There's over 1,000 people in the live chat right now, and less than a third of you have liked the video. Okay, and when you like the video, you get my video here and my other videos recommended to people that have not yet discovered my channel. And that helps spread the word and grow the channel. And I mean, we just have these, massive stories here. I mean, these are the most scandalous stories of any president in history. It really is, by far. No president has been as corrupt as this, and that says a lot, because all of them but Trump have some level of corruption. And Reagan, too. No corruption on Reagan's part, but except for Trump and Reagan, this is the most scandalous. The Biden 6. You guys like that? The Biden 6. That's what I'm going to call him. I just thought of that. Tell me yes or no about his chief of staff resigning, who you notice is not part of the cover-up team. Do you think he's made a deal with the special counsel that he's like a cooperating witness and that's why he's leaving? I do. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. My doctor prescribed Creon, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic oh, yeah.
Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis.
Well, call me on the air and let me know your thoughts, feelings, what's going to happen, your reaction to this. I saw someone say, not surprised. This is very surprising stuff. I mean, this is a level of crime. We're at Rosenberg levels of crime. I mean, that's really where we are right now. We leave Saturday morning on our cruise. And I'll live stream from the ship with all the breaking news and everything. And I'm going to make YouTube videos of the trip as well, vlogs that I'll upload throughout the week. But I'll do live streams from time to time from the ship, talking about all the developments and everything going on in the news as well. So make sure you got the notification bell clicked. I won't be up as early on the cruise as I am here probably, but you never know. Oh, I'll still be here on YouTube. All right, get ready to come back in about 90 seconds. Yeah. I think he's made a deal with the prosecutors. That's what I think. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. I don't like to answer the phones before they go on the air, but the restaurant guy, you know. These libs, they can't handle it. This weekend seemed like 5 days long. All right, this is the last commercial, then we'll be back. Oh, there's a lot of trouble going on. A lot of trouble going on for the Biden regime.
954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. BrightonDentalCare.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
Indeed, 46 years on the air. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Monday morning. Oh, man. Yesterday, we're going on our cruise on Saturday. We leave Saturday morning. Well, we leave Saturday afternoon. We're boarding Saturday morning. Because you want to get on as early as you can so you can start to partake in all the cruise festivities while in port. But yesterday, with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot and Steve's wife, Lori, and some friends, and we took a tour of the sister ship of the cruise we're going on, the Celebrity Beyond. And the reason we did that is so that we could scout out. The ships are identical. We're going on the Celebrity Apex. We took a tour of the Celebrity Beyond. The ships are identical, and we were scouting out all the locations. We have all of our activities planned for the week on our cruise. And of course, they opened up the bar to us while we were taking the tour, and well, I partook. I had several drinks, and they were very strong drinks, and we had lunch in one of the dining rooms where we're going to be every night, so we're going to have a great time. So I may be a little hungover this morning. Do I sound hungover? I feel like maybe a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. This is what I'll be like every morning on the cruise next week. But if you would like to join us, a lot of the cabin classes have filled up. But there are still some scattered availability here and there on the ship. At least there was when I left yesterday. So I'm going to give you the number for Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. If you'd like to join Steve Kane and me and our great listeners, give him a call and see what we can do. Here's his number. It's 954. I'm sorry, scratch that. See? Hungover, told you. 561. This is Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244 5779. 561-244-5779. Give them a call and join us. You'll have a great time. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
All right, Houston, Texas. What's on your mind?
Well, I just think that Biden probably belongs to the mafia. But
Oh, my goodness. There we go. There we go. I know exactly where that's going. You know, the seminar callers are back, people. The Democrat, as opposed to dealing with what's going on, they got to put the seminar. And notice all the seminar callers are either from Texas or Kentucky. This cover-up team of, I'm the only one who heard. The only one. Well, in the seminar caller, I guess, because they said it. This cover-up team around Joe Biden, that it was led by Joe Biden and his sister Valerie, with Joe, that's 7, but he had 6 people in the cover-up team trying to keep this from going public, obstructing justice, trying to stop a investigation, trying to stop a special counsel in all of this. I'm going to call them from this point forward the Biden 6. What do you guys think? Do you like that? The Biden 6 involved in the cover-up. And, the question about these documents, there's so many questions about these documents. But, there's one question that popped into my mind over the weekend that I want to throw out to you guys. How long has Biden been doing this? What I mean by this is taking classified documents. The level that he did this crime is on a massive level. It was reported early last week on Fox News Channel on Harris Faulkner's show. She had an expert in such things. And he said that these documents have the highest level of classification that exists. And he had a whole bunch of them, right? They found more documents that came out yesterday. They found the garage, all this stuff. You don't just all of a sudden have boxes in multiple locations, your private office, your home, your garage, everything else. You don't all of a sudden have boxes and boxes of classified documents of the highest level of classification that exist. What most criminals do is build up to such things. They get more and more confident, so then they, do a little more deeper into the crime world. So, my belief is that Joe Biden has been doing things like this since he has had access to classified materials. And that would go back to his Senate days. Now, the level of classification that he had access to when he was vice president was greater than he ever had before as a senator, but members of Congress do have access. That's why Swalwell was taken off of his committee by our great new Trump puppet speaker, Kevin McCarthy. Because you can't trust Eric Swalwell with secrets. That's why when President Trump took military action against Iran and ISIS, he did not tell Congress because he didn't trust certain members of Congress, Ilhan Omar, to name one, not to leak the information to America's enemies. So members of Congress have access to classified information all the time. And my guess would be that Joe Biden has been doing this his entire career in Washington, D.C. And the longer this drags out, eventually those kind of stories are going to start to come out. We have the largest, intelligence failure, spy ring, whatever you want to call it, in the history of the United States of America, because there's never been someone with access to so much at such a high level over and over again. They could just walk out with more and more documents. The story I had on Friday about the leaking out the confidential cell phone numbers of all of these officials, the entire Obama cabinet pretty much, and other government officials. See, that doesn't just get you into their phones. that gives you not only a listening device wherever they are, even if they think their phone is off, to listen to whatever conversations they're having in the room, even when they're not on a telephone, but also there's cameras on everyone's cell phone, and even when people think their phone is off, the CCP can get in there and see through the camera on the phone what's going on. And one thing we know about people in Washington, they're seedy, eyes wide shut kind of lifestyle going on. Paul Pelosi. You think Nancy just had an exorcism at the house because that guy? She had an exorcism at her house for other reasons. So what Hunter did with this Kathy Chung by giving these private cell phone numbers of the people in charge of the agencies of government at this high level, gave the CCP, or whoever they sold them to, access to blackmail material that could not even be imagined. And, you know, it makes sense. Everything they accuse Trump of, they do. And if you remember the Russian dossier, people forget what the Russian dossier was. The Russian dossier, what it said was that Donald Trump, before he was president, stayed in the same hotel room in Moscow in Russia that Obama stayed in. And that he had 2 Russian prostitutes get naked and urinate on the bed, and he watched and pleasured himself. And Putin had video of this and was using it as blackmail material to control President Trump. Remember this? That's what the dossier said. Now with this latest leak with the document scandal and the cell phone numbers, we find that whoever they sold the numbers to, Russia or the CCP, it had to be one of the others, okay? And I'm starting to think Russia had a role in this, and I'm going to throw a name out there. We got to get a timeline to this. But they have video footage now, whoever got those cell phone numbers, Russia or China, to everyone whose phone number they got. And some of these people are very sleazy, including Nancy Pelosi's phone number, the Clintons' phone number, and a lot of others. And this just popped in my mind as I was talking. Snowden. You know, Snowden going to Russia, defecting to Russia, never made sense to me. And, you know, Snowden, young guy, he was making over $200,000 a year, living in Hawaii, and he had this Hawaiian tropic bikini model girlfriend. Why would he defect to Russia? And I'm starting to wonder if it had something to do with this, because the whole Snowden affair happened when Obama was president. I've thought that Snowden was really an agent for us, kind of a double agent kind of thing. I talked about this at the time when Snowden was new and it was a big thing, and everyone was talking about Snowden, and I said then, I think this guy's a spy for us. It doesn't make sense. He's a double agent. And a lot of the things I've been talking about how an enemy intelligence organization can use the cell phones to get all of this information came from things I've heard Snowden say himself about cell phones. Maybe they got Snowden over there to try to get control of what Biden did. All right, we're going to take our first break of the first hour of the first show of the week. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Wow. Wow.
advice. And because we can't
Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe.
text baby to 4
Oh no, you have to wait. Just something I read.
off your in-store purchase of $100 or more. Again, text BABY to 42229 for $20 off. Bye bye baby. Welcome to parenthood.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions, rehab, and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with insulin, garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural remedies with the garlic and the product used as a remedy.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Yes. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Monday morning. Welcome, and just massive scandalous stories on Joe Biden. It's just the countdown to the resignation has only been slowed because Kamala Harris had her big debut as a president yesterday, and she screwed up because she's incompetent. Now, I want to tell you guys about EET, our fence and gate repair experts. You know, when it comes to fence and gate repair, these fence and gate repair companies, other than EET, will not do it. Not only do they not do it, they're proud. They're proud that they don't do it. You call them up and they'll say, no, we don't do repairs. We just sell new fencing. We just sell new gates. Yeah, but I only have this little area that's damaged. If you want a whole new fence, we'll come out and put it in. We don't do it. I've been through this. Steve's been through this. Steve had damage to his gate and fence for a long time because he couldn't find someone to do the repair. And then we found EET. They're family owned and operated, licensed and insured. They've been in business for over 20 years. And by the way, 15% off to all first responders, military personnel, and school teachers. Now, they don't just do repairs. If you need a whole new fence, if you need a new gate, they'll do that too. And they'll beat any competitor's price. So if you have an estimate on new fencing or a new gate, they will beat any competitor's price. No job is too small, and there's no minimum charge either. But also, no job is too big. If you have an office complex, a condominium association, and you need repairs to your fencing, to your gate, or maybe you need a new gate and fencing that's big for a commercial property, they can handle that too. They give free estimates as well. Give them a call. Make sure you tell EET you heard about them on the radio, 561-255-1170. 561-255-1170. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Richie. Good morning, Brian. Good morning to everyone, and I hope you have the greatest time of your life next week. You good on it?
That's right. That's right.
All right, here's the deal. For the first time in my life, I know Michelle said she was proud of this country. I am so ashamed of this country. I am so ashamed of anyone during the last elections. I watched it.
Well, we know Democrats are dirtbags, but let's get to the new stuff that's going on.
Yeah, but I think that Joe Biden is the smartest president, and I'm being straight up with you, the smartest president that's ever sat in that White House to take advantage of the American people. I mean, those secret documents were his lotto tickets. He's made his family rich as hell with those documents. I mean, he has sold this country into the toilet bowl, and nobody gives a damn.
I don't know. You know, listen, Richie, these stories that are coming out, there are no these stories that are coming out are not coming out because there's some investigative journalist that's out there. They're not doing any of that. They're being handed the stories. The stories are being leaked out by the Obama wing of the Democrat Party. So there's a lot of consequences going on and a lot of things happening, and the Democrats are trying to bring down Joe Biden.
I understand that, but like I said, I watch Meet the Press. Now, that's an opinionated show, but I'm going to tell you, all you hear is that Biden isn't as bad with Biden as it was with Trump. Orange man bad, Biden great. I mean, this is still going on. They cover it up as much as they can, and they try to destroy MAGA Republicans at every breath. Every breath. Mm-hmm. Disgusting. Biden's going to get away with this.
No.
He's going to be a rich man.
He's not. He is not going to go to jail. And, but he's going to be put through a humiliating yeah, that is a big deal. To resign and leave that White House like Richard Nixon is a big humiliation. Big humiliation.
The difference between Nixon wasn't as rich as this guy has become in 40-something years.
Yeah. No, but Richard Nixon, when Richard Nixon resigned, he was a much younger man than this senile old coot, and he had some time to go out there and he made money, but he went out there and resurrected his reputation a little bit. Joe Biden at his age won't have time to go out there and reinvent Joe Biden. He will always be remembered as what he is, the most corrupt man to ever be the president of the United States, who resigned in a humiliating disgrace.
And then there's just another one they put up there, Kamala Harris, Pamela, whatever her name is. They're going to put her in there. It's just one dirtbag after the other. They're even trying to prop up the guy in California already.
Yeah, good luck.
Destroy California.
Good luck.
Yeah, but I mean, we say good luck. We have brains, Brian, but these people that are voting in this country.
It's going to go, listen, it's going to go as good for the Democrats as it went for the Republicans in the first election after Nixon resigned, right? Didn't go well for them. You know, I know it's hard for people to believe that there's going to be consequences because you're so used to there not being consequences. I'm telling you, there already are. You know, this story that I had on Friday about the Kathy Chung, this thing about the Biden 6 that I'm talking about today, the 68-day cover-up led by his sister Valerie. The last two big stories have involved his closest family members, his sister and his son. So what they're doing is threatening, they could face criminal prosecution that Biden would escape from. They're using that to put pressure on him. His chief of staff resigning is obviously a cooperating witness with the special prosecutor now, and he has to get out and can't do crime.
Well, they're not sure whether he's going to be campaigning for him or his campaign if he decides to run. This guy's got the gall that he might even try. But to make a long story short, all of these people that you're naming, one after the other, this group of that they said that Biden's cooperated with them and Trump didn't. And the fact of the matter is, Biden tried to cover it up for him, and they don't.
Well, they're saying things that aren't true, and so far, if he comes out and announces he's running for re-election, Nixon was running for re-election during the entire Watergate scandal, so that's meaningless.
Do you know that Nixon had won by more votes than the most?
He won 49 states, and not only did he win 49 states, he was framed. Okay, he was framed. Yes.
And that's what happened to President Trump. Same thing.
Yeah. All right, Richie. Thanks for the call. Now the countdown to Valentine's Day has begun. Valentine's will be here before you know it. And there's no better place to go for Valentine's Day with your Valentine than Anne Marie's in Pompano. You know, their food is so spectacular. I mean, it's fine dining, really, at not fine dining prices because the prices are spectacular. But if you've not been there at night for dinner, you really miss out on a lot. They've got a great atmosphere. They have a VIP wine club, so you can have a fine Italian dinner with your Valentine at Anne Marie's in Pompano and have fine wine at the same time. It's a great place to take your Valentine on Valentine's Day. Anne Marie's in Pompano. And what you order, well, that's up to you. But I mean, you can't go wrong with anything you order off that menu. But, of course, I love the lasagna. I love the baked ziti. The pasta, the meatballs are out of this world. Remember, everything at Anne Marie's is homemade. Grandma is in the kitchen, and these are Grandma's recipes. It's a great place to go for Valentine's Day. Stop in. Give them a call, by the way. They're closed on Mondays, and today's Monday. But give Anne Marie's a call tomorrow and ask them if you can make a reservation for Valentine's Day. 954-889-6600. They do have limited seating over there, okay? So I'd call ahead if I were you tomorrow because they're closed on Mondays. 954-889-6600. 954-889-6600. And Anne Marie's, of course, in Pompano is on the northwest corner of US 1 Federal Highway in Copans Road in the same plaza as the movie theater. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ Broward.
Hey, PJ.
Hey, so anyway, February 7th, he's supposed to give the State of the Union.
That's right.
Can you imagine how it's going to be I mean, even on the Democrat side, the applause is going to be sort of muted, right?
Well, Bill Clinton gave a State of the Union during the Lewinsky matter. That was a big deal. That was a crazy thing. That went on for a long time, and there was a lot of questions. Would he even give the State of the Union because of the Lewinsky scandal? And he did.
What was the reception?
You know, it's been so long, I don't remember. You know the Democrats, they circled the wagons.
Yeah, but it's got, and you know what? Between now and February 7th, there's sure to be more revelations. In fact, they might be so stunning, he might want to consider canceling that State of the Union. Who knows?
No, they'll never do that. That would be admitting that hasn't been done in the age of television. He'll do it. He'll do it.
And the other thing is, you know, I wish I was a fly on the wall of special counsel Jack Smith. He's got to have I mean, can you imagine how tough his job is now? How can he possibly bring recommended charges against Trump after this?
With all this, yeah. I still stick. I believe that Joe Biden's chief of staff is cooperating with the special counsel. I think he's a cooperating witness. He's leaving in a couple weeks after the State of the Union because he can't be involved in criminal activity. And he can't leave on a dime because he's running the country. So there has to be a transition to his replacement. So I think him announcing that he's leaving. This was decided long ago and all this BS. There's no way that the guy that's running the country, the Biden chief of staff, claimed would just, I'm leaving. No, there's something going on here.
Yeah, I see. I also read that the new chief of staff that's going to replace Ron Klain is kind of not really. It says not. He's not really into politics that much.
Oh yeah, of course.
Storekeeper, he just he's good at organizing offices and stuff.
I don't buy that. I don't buy. Is by the way, is it Ron Klain or Ron Klan? I'm not sure.
Klain.
You sure? Are you sure it's not Klan?
Yeah. By the way, you want to know something ironic about Ron Klain? Kevin Spacey played him in I think it was called Election.
Yeah, that HBO movie. That's right. That movie about the recount in Florida. That's right. I forgot about that. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah, that's true. All right, listen, I got to run, but I'll see you Saturday on the cruise, PJ. All right, we're coming up on our top of the hour break, and I want to commend PJ. He did not mention food once during that call, which is very unusual for PJ. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're calling us from. We'll take our top of the hour break, be back with more calls and more news right after this. Be right back, guys. Welcome, guys. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Oh, man, where am I?
After he was disarmed, the shooter took off. The suspect found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot was a 72-year-old man. Motive for the attack remains unknown. Alex Stone, ABC News, Monterey Park, California. Congresswoman Judy Chu represents the district. She says this episode shows the weakness of background checks on gun purchases.
People can still buy guns without that check if they buy them online or at a gun show or through personal sale.
This is ABC News.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save on the trip, or using refill by scan, which is super easy and right on your phone.
There's so much news going on right now. Oh, my goodness.
I say, hey, we got you. Low-cost copays.
There's over 1,200 people in the chat, and less than half of you have liked the video. So, guys, please like the video. That helps spread the word about this channel and gets my videos recommended to people that don't know about me yet. You know? And with everything that's going on, we want as many people to know about this show as possible. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, please like the video. That helps so much. Coming back in, let's see here, less than a minute. My daughter is coming. Yeah, she's bringing a friend. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's Monday. I'm Brian, and it is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you've just tuned in, you've missed a lot. We'll recap some of these things as the show goes on, but big stuff. Now, with Valentine's Day around the corner, there's no better place to go shopping than at MyPillow.com. And when you use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can take advantage of all the specials you see at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I talk about. I share what I think are my favorites and the best deals in my opinion, but whatever special you see at MyPillow.com, you can take advantage of it with our promo code KANE. But for Valentine's Day, there's a couple things that I highly recommend. One is the MyPillow bathrobe. There's a huge sale going on right now, the closeout sale right after the holidays on the MyPillow bathrobe. I have one. My wife has one. This is the lowest price ever on the MyPillow bathrobe. When you use our promo code at checkout, Kane, K-A-N-E, just $59.98. And this is, by the way, the MyPillow bathrobes for both men and women, the light robe, the heavy robe, and in all the different colors, just $59.98, the lowest price ever. And also the MyPillow My Slippers. They have a whole bunch of new sizes, smaller sizes, larger sizes, wide, and a whole bunch of new colors. Just $59.98 with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. The robe and the slippers for his and her, that makes a great Valentine's Day gift, I'm here to tell you. And your Valentine will be highly appreciative. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com, or order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Laura in the Virgin Islands.
Oh, hey. How you doing? This next week I'm gonna be in the Virgin Islands, but on the British side.
What time are you going to be in Tortola?
I don't know. I could find out. I forgot. I don't know. I'll look. I'll let you know in a minute. I'll let you know while we're talking. I'll look it up.
Okay, what I'm calling about, I want to make a correction on Snowden. Snowden was on his way to South America, and he went via Russia, and Obama canceled his passport while he was in Russia.
That was part of the cover. I still think that he was working for us.
Oh, well, anyway, I know he got stuck in Russia and Obama canceled his passport and he couldn't leave Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he was given a Russian passport, that I know.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a cover, but I remember when it happened.
Well, we're going to be, I just looked at the schedule for our cruise. We're going to be in Tortola in the British Virgin Islands on Tuesday, a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
So if you call our, I don't know if you could. It'd be cool if you could meet us. Call our travel agent at Cruise and Travel Depot, because he'll know where we dock and berth and where we'll be and stuff. I don't know. I'm just going to find out. I'm on vacation, so I'm just going to find out when we get there. But you call Ian. And that'd be kind of cool. I think the people in our group would be excited if one of our listeners in the Virgin Islands met us. Be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. To your podcast, you and your wife, I think you're right on. And I must say, a lot of news I hear it first on your podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm on this story. I'm definitely I think a couple weeks ahead of the rest of the media by far.
Oh, I get so much news from both your talk show and the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Well, do you know how to get the number of our travel agent? Or you want me to give it to you?
Tell it to me. I'll find it on Google.
Okay. Yeah, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. All right. Take care. Golly, gonna have a listener who wants to meet us at the ship in the Virgin Islands. Well, we're growing. We're global, baby. All right. 1-888-GO-KANE-1's the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Cassandra and Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Wow. Just want to say, did you see Kellyanne Conway last night on Steve Hilton?
I did not. That's way late for me, man.
Oh, man. I turned on a little late. Anyway, I listened to her. I said, "Who's this blonde girl, man? She sounds just like Kellyanne. She looks so much younger."
Oh, she's had a lot of work done. Kellyanne Conway's had a lot of cosmetic work done, yeah.
Man, she looked fantastic. She looked good. Anyway, so Biden, this guy doesn't care about the country, apparently, with the open borders and everything else. And he doesn't care. He's going to keep trucking along, and I don't think he's going to ever, no matter what they say to him, he's going to pardon everybody and stay there until,
All right, anyway, oh my gosh, Doug. No matter how many times, he just always, I just got it before the beat. I didn't have to use the dump button, but Doug's a nice guy, but he lacks sense. Him and Richie, they got about the same level of common sense on a lot of things. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. You know, it's been a rough day on the phones, right? Had the dump callers a couple times, got to watch what they say, got to cut them off before they go over the line. There's a lot of emotions going on out there involving this story with Joe Biden, and I get it. But let me tell you, these developments over the weekend that I went over in the first hour are huge. I'll recap some of them later in the show. But the thing about these developments is they're jamming up with hardcore long-term prison sentence-like federal crimes to blood relatives. And that which is very new outside of the world of Trump, because they're always against Trump and his family. But they're doing that to put pressure on the family to get him to resign. So we'll continue with this, and there's some other things we got to talk about too that happened over the weekend that I've not touched on yet as well. But we'll go back to the phones, although phones have been a little difficult today because people are just very emotional right now. I get it. That's okay. I'm in control though. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1 888-465-2631 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. We'll take our first break of the second hour of the first day of the week and be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Oh boy. Yeah, Monday we'll be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Tuesday, Tortola, British Virgin Islands. And then Wednesday, St. Kitts and Nevis. Oh, man. We don't really know what happened to Diamond. They've been vague about the cause of death, but it was terrible. I'm going to talk about the memorial when we get back. I've been putting off getting a haircut because I want to have a great haircut for the cruise. So I've gone longer without a haircut than I normally would. I had to make my hat bigger to fit on my hairy head.
So Dr. Appleton is rabbi recommended. So now he's got rabbinical supervision. You can really after one time and crying to me on the phone and sleeping like a baby that night. Do what Rabbi David did. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Market on both new and used tires. New tires as low as
I'm going to talk about Diamond when we get back. That was a beautiful memorial.
Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445.
since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 888-GO-KANE-1. How many of you caught the memorial service over the weekend on Saturday night for Diamond of Diamond and Silk? Oh my goodness. President Trump was there and spoke. Mike Lindell was there and spoke. And Silk was amazing. I watched the whole thing. And my wife and I, we were going to go out Saturday. And we put on the memorial service because we knew it was coming on. And we went out hours later than we planned because we couldn't stop watching it. And that memorial service for Diamond of Diamond and Silk was the most beautiful memorial service I have ever seen for anyone. Carrie Lake was there too. They had so many people come up before Silk and then President Trump. But man, there was one of the first minister, if you can find it online after I go off the air at 9 o'clock, don't do it now, but go and watch it. Okay, some of the pastors went on a little too long. There's no doubt about it. But the first pastor who went up, he said, right now, Diamond is, he's. If you've never been to a black church, you'll see what it's like when you go to a black church. I've never been to a black memorial service, like a black religious church memorial service before, but we got an idea of what it's like, and they're a little different than at the white church. It's sad how segregated our churches are in this country. They really are. It's the last place, and now of course it's not state imposed by the Democrats any longer. People self-segregate, but they're still segregated and quite different. But the first preacher that went up at Diamond's memorial, he says, right now, of course he said it very loud and and all that stuff. He said, right now, Diamond is up in heaven talking to Jesus, saying to Jesus, please make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. And the whole memorial service just went nuts and everything. Unfortunately, they didn't have a camera on President Trump when he said that. I'd love to have seen his face. But when Silk came up, I'm here to tell you, I was in tears. I'm not embarrassed to tell you. I was crying during that memorial service when Silk was speaking. And I know I'm not alone. It was, like losing a family member. And she told the whole story. Basically, Diamond died in her arms. They were at home together, and Diamond was on the phone with their other sister, their younger sister, got off the phone, was sitting in the living room, and told Silk that she was having a hard time breathing. She couldn't breathe. So she took her to the kitchen and opened up the back door, and she said, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. They called 911. She collapsed, and Silk and her husband were performing CPR on her on the floor of the kitchen, and that's where she passed. And apparently, there was a problem with a sheriff's deputy that arrived to the scene, and she went off. Silk went on for a long... Did you guys catch this? Do you know what happened? Because she didn't say what happened. But she's filing a complaint with the police department, and she just went off on how she was and her family were mistreated by this police officer who arrived, and how her sister, who was dead on the floor of the kitchen, was being disrespected by this police officer. She didn't say specifically what happened. If anyone knows, let me know. I've never seen anything like this at a memorial service before. And, of course, my first thought was the police officer that she was ranting and raving about a liberal who knew who they were? Probably. It's probably what happened. There was another police officer, she said, that acted properly and she had respect for. But this one deputy was, I've never seen someone go off on a first responder at a memorial service to a first responder to a death of a family member whose memorial service. I've never seen anything like that before. So whatever that deputy did had to be pretty darn bad for her to go up there. But I was in tears listening to Silk talk about the mistreatment of the police officer while Diamond lay dead on the floor, how she died in her arms, how her and her husband performed CPR. I was bawling. I know some of you guys were too that watched this. And then she talked about the phone call she got from President Trump. And she told some stories about President Trump that were just amazing. And President Trump was sitting right there with Mike Lindell and Lara Trump and others and the family and the Diamond and Silk family. And Silk first told a story about a homeless woman that was found at one of the Trump properties that they were going to throw out, and President Trump let her stay there and said keep her there as long as she wants and made sure she had flowers. Remember all this? But then she talked about when President Trump called her, when he heard about the passing of Diamond, and she says, I hope you don't get upset that I'm sharing this, Mr. President, but he offered and paid for everything. He says, whatever you want, you got it. I'm going to pay for it. Cars, a venue, funeral, service. And President Trump covered all of the expenses for Diamond's funeral and memorial service. And it was a beautiful one. And, you know, these preachers went on and on and on and on. And by the time, and Mike Lindell had a great speech too. And then when Diamond came up, Diamond talked for like an hour. And she was going off. And, you know, the Diamond and Silk duo, Silk didn't talk. Diamond did all the talking. And Silk is going to be, I think Silk is going to be so prominent, more than Diamond and Silk ever were, because she's so outspoken. My goodness. She's right on she was talking about all the issues of our time up there at this memorial. And it was an hour and 15 minutes and it was, you know, I'm bawling. I know you guys are bawling watching it, and it was just so powerful. And I was wondering, what does President Trump think? Because he was sitting up there for hours. The preachers went on. They had a whole bunch of preachers, went on for a long time. They had singers, and a bunch of different people came up and spoke, family members, sisters and daughters and husbands and dads, and then Silk. And I mean, it was hours and hours. And I'm thinking, this is, you know, a long time to keep President Trump waiting. And President Trump came up there and he said, you know, my people said it would be 15 minutes in and out. And he says it's been hours. And President Trump said, this is the most beautiful memorial service he's ever been to. And he's been to a lot of them for very famous people throughout his life, I'm sure, and very important people. And I could tell President Trump was so moved by that memorial service. I've never seen him like that before. It was amazing. And my guess is that when the rallies start again, and they will because he is running for re-election in 2024, Diamond and Silk had been at a lot of the rallies. If you ever go to a Trump rally, they have a whole bunch of speakers throughout the whole afternoon at the rallies leading up to President Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if Silk ends up introducing President Trump at the rallies. I think she's going to be on the campaign trail with him at every single stop, and she's going to have a very, very, very big position in the future rallies, bigger than Diamond and Silk ever had. I mean, President Trump, when he got up, he said, I thought you were the quiet one. And I did too. But if you saw the Diamond from Diamond and Silk Memorial, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Were you crying too? I did not expect that. I really didn't. And it was beautiful. You know, and Diamond and Silk are very important people in the MAGA movement and the conservative movement. And Silk is going to be huge. In fact, she's going to be one of the leading MAGA voices. If you saw her at the memorial service, I was just blown away by her. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number, 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take that break and be back after this. So that's good.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
Palm Beach commuters still into Fairley Expressway, 95 lanes are black lane crash. Disabled vehicle parked on Grand Street on 95 South Gateway Boulevard. Beach Boulevard. As for the surface streets, we have multiple.
Yeah, that was something. By the way, only half of you, there's over 1,300 people in the chat, only half of you have liked the video, so please like the video. Please, guys.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. The biggest garage on the block. eBay Motors is 122 million cars.
That liking the video helps so much. You have no idea of spreading the word and growing the channel.
Traffic and service of Palm Beach Kennel Club. This week it's ponies and poker at PBKC. Friday night, come out for a $10 poker party, perfect for new players to experience tournament play. And it's free for new signups. Saturday, watch Wager and Win on Gulfstream Park's Pegasus World Cup in the Paddock Restaurant with over 130 HD TVs and big screen TVs. Go to pbkennelclub.com for more information.
Well, thank you, guys. No, never will go to my head. I will live stream from the cruise ship, and I will make videos every day, probably. But I'll definitely live stream in the mornings when I get up and stuff. So make sure you got the notification bell clicked so you know when I go live. Because I don't think I'll be up at 6 a.m. on the cruise ship. But I still wake up earlier than most people do on a cruise ship. We don't know where she died from. They've been vague about it. They haven't said. Anyone who tells you they know is lying, because she has not said.
Middleman Eye Center is offering the next level experience in IV-free cataract surgery. New technology, new lenses, and a new office-based surgery experience awaits you. Contact Middleman Eye Center. Call or text 561-500-2020 or visit us on the web at middlemaneye.com to schedule or for more information.
Well, this is the best talk show in America. All right. That's right, 46 years on the radio, the Steve Kane Show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Steve will be joining us at the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig, and I know because, well, it's January, at least half of you are on a diet. And I got news for you, breaking news. Diets don't work. Do you know anyone who has lost weight, kept it off, and looked great from a diet for... No. They're a waste of time. They really are. I mean, I wish they worked, but they don't. But I'll tell you what does work. That is Cool Sculpting Elite at Forever Youth. And, of course, it's FDA approved, and they got a great special, 50% off for Steve Kane listeners for the Cool Sculpting Elite. You know, what it does everything liposuction does, but it's a non-invasive procedure. It's done in office. There's no downtime. It freezes away your fat cells. And then, they because it's called Cool Sculpting Elite, they freeze away the fat cells. That's the cool part. And then, which is also cool, not just because it's cold, but then they sculpt your body, whatever area they've frozen away the fat cells on, so that it looks the way you want it to look. And it works on all areas of your body. Your stomach, your love handles, fat on your legs, back, neck, you have multiple chins, the backs of your arms. Wherever you have body fat, the Cool Sculpting Elite can work. And it's 50% off if you mention you heard them on the radio. Here's the number, 561-717-8081. 561-717-8081. That's 561-717-8081. And if you miss the number of anyone that we advertise here and that promote this program, The Steve Kane Show, go to our website, stevekaneshow.com. On our sponsor page, we have all the contact information for our sponsors right there, stevekaneshow.com on the sponsor page. All right, now, you know, I'm reluctant to play this because everyone has been doing this and they'll continue to do it today, but there's something that everyone's leaving out, and this is why I'm sharing it. There's a couple things, actually. Kamala Harris and this speech in Tallahassee yesterday, okay, on abortion. Let me just play it. I'm sure you've heard this, but let me play it for you.
Believe and know. America is a promise. America is a promise. It is a promise of freedom and liberty. Not for some, but for all. A promise we made in the Declaration of Independence, that we are each endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Be clear, these rights were not bestowed upon us. They belong to us as Americans.
All right, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's Kamala yesterday here in Florida, and this was, okay, there's a lot to say about this, okay? Obviously, she left off life because she's not pro-life. She also left out creator. And these, by the way, these two things are not the biggest point about this epic fail of hers yesterday with the speech. But everyone's talking about how she left life out, and I'll get to that in a second, how that happened, because she's doing a pro-abortion speech. She didn't want to use the word life. And she left out creator. Creator is important because the founder said we are given these rights by God. Because if you're given rights by a man, they had a king at the time, a man can take them away. If you're given the rights by God, only God can take them away. Not some government, not a king, right? That's why that's important. But everyone's playing this and then laughing. Now, I was telling you guys last week, the transition to President Kamala has begun. There's two factions at the White House, right? Had this breaking story on Friday afternoon that came out that I talked about in the first hour of the Biden Six. There's a team of six led by Biden's sister Valerie, team of six top people, Anita Dunn and her husband are a part of it, at the White House, who spent 68 days covering up this document scandal. Not only that, they were involved in not just keeping it from the media, but involved in an obstruction of justice operation to stop the Justice Department from investigating it and stop them from appointing a special counsel. They failed, but it was an effort to obstruct justice in the document-gate, the Biden Six, led by Biden's sister Valerie. So I've heard some people talking about this in the news, Kamala Harris leaving out life, and they're asking, how did this happen? Why, of all the quotes to use, why did they use one that has life in it? and they took life out. Why would they do this? How could they be so stupid? That was done on purpose to humiliate her. This speech that she gave yesterday was supposed to be her coming out as presidential. We're talking about this last week. They know Biden is being pressured to resign. There's two factions at the White House, right? There's the cover-up obstruction of justice side, which are some top people. And then you have the others like Jean-Pierre and Kamala that are not involved in that, want nothing to do with that, and are working towards making Kamala the first female president of the United States. But it is not an accident. And this speech was supposed to be, look, I'm presidential. I'm giving a presidential-like speech. And she looked like an idiot. She looked like an idiot because one of the Biden loyalists that's working for Biden to cover up his scandals was involved with the speech, the writing of the speech, the editing and selection of the speech. And this speech did not happen by accident or stupidity. Stupidity on her part. You know, she should have seen that and recognized that life was omitted and not used it. But I don't think she knew it was omitted because she grew up in Canada. When she was a little girl, her parents divorced, her mom took her to Canada, and she went to school in Canada all the way through high school, and then she came back to America for college. So she didn't grow up learning about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. She learned about maple syrup and mousse. I don't know what they learned in school in Canada. So she didn't know. She was set up by the Biden people in the White House, so she didn't not only not look presidential, but look like a moron with that quote, with life taken out. She was set up by the Biden team. And, you know, if she had grown up in the United States, she rehearsed that speech. Notice there was no cackling going on. That, believe me, that's not easy for her to do. She rehearsed that speech. In fact, that's maybe the first time I've heard her speak where there wasn't the cackle. And she's so out of it, so far as America and our experience and history and everything, that even when she rehearsed it, she didn't pick up on it because she didn't know about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to pick up on it. So she was totally sad. And it's interesting because you're really seeing this division going on inside the White House between the Biden faction and whoever the rest are. I don't know if I'd call it Team Kamala. I think it's Team I don't want to be in an orange jumpsuit team. But this is pretty amazing stuff. That did not happen by accident. There's a lot of quotes they could have used, and they chose that one. And then she said something else that really shows how dumb she is. Here it is. This is her same speech.
Even then, people live in fear of what might be next. Because Republicans in Congress are now calling for a nationwide abortion ban. Some even from the moment of conception. The right of every woman in every state in this country to make decisions about her own body is on the line. And I've said it before and I will say it again. How dare they?
All right, yes. How dare they? Yes, how dare they? I say it again, how dare they? You know, and she thinks that that's like some moment that's going to go down in history. How dare they? She thinks that that's like, don't ask what your country can do for you kind of moment. It's going to go down. It's going to go down in history as an embarrassment, maybe, but that's if it goes down in history. But this is the thing with this speech, too. It also, she was definitely set up with that thing I talked about in the other clip, but it shows you the state of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party are wrapping their entire 2024 campaign around abortion. Most abortions are committed now by a girl going over to the drugstore, getting the over-the-counter morning after pill, and that's it. But the Democrat Party, who likes to think of themselves as hipsters, hippies, and the MTV crowd, that they're in touch with the pulse of the American people, is run by a bunch of blue-hair old ladies who think that, and gays, who think that abortion is primary in people's mind, and it's not. Okay, it's not. No one really, in large numbers, supports these. You know, these bans that she's talking about. Like, I think in Florida, the ban's, 15 weeks? That's like 4 months. Come on. 4 months? Why would you have an abortion at 4 months? What could the possible reason be? Right? And there are exceptions for the health of the mother if it can be documented, et cetera, at that point. But this moment with Kamala was so bad yesterday, by design from the speechwriters, that has bought Joe Biden a little more time from resignation. If she would have had, see, what Kamala thought yesterday with this speech is she was going to have this beautiful speech. It was going to be amazing. It was going to be presidential. Everyone would be talking about it on Monday. She would look presidential, and the transition would begin to the resignation of Biden. She looked like an idiot yesterday. It's humiliating for her what happened yesterday. And you know what? She might be an idiot, but she knows that she looked like a fool because, believe me, she's all over the media and she's all over social media reading what people are saying about it. And she's flipped out right now that she was set up with that quote from the speech, omitting life. So Biden bought a little more time, but he still will be forced to resign. Okay, we'll take our last break of the second hour. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. Our number, 888-GO-CANE1. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Has received Wine Spectator Magazine's Award of Excellence 3 years running. Learn about their wine club, enjoy sommelier services, and of course catering at your place or ours. Open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner with private event space available for luncheons. Check our calendar for exciting paired wine dinners, tastings, and events. The Grove and Hope Sound. Visit thegrovehopesound.com to learn more.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. Have you guys called Sloman's to get your free doorbell camera yet? If not, you should. I'm going to give you the number in just a moment, so get something to write with. You know, having a doorbell camera, obviously there's added security. It's hooked up to my alarm system. Anytime there's movement at my door, not only do I get a notification, but it's recorded in high definition. Even at night, there's night vision. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a great thing to have. It's a great convenience, too. You know, yesterday, we took a tour of a cruise ship yesterday because our cruise is next week. And while I was on the ship yesterday, I got some notifications. There were deliveries that came to my front door. And I got the notification. Not only that, I could see what was being delivered because I was waiting for some groceries. And I thought, uh-oh, the groceries. If they were the groceries, I'd have to rush home or get my wife to bring them in. But they were just things from Amazon. But it's nice to get a notification every time there is movement at your front door. You can even unlock the door from the app when you get a doorbell notification. You can talk to someone, like yesterday, I'm not home, I'm getting notifications. I could talk to the delivery person if I wanted to, and they don't know I'm not home. They'll think I'm inside. It's absolutely an amazing thing to have, and you can get a doorbell camera for free. Now, you got to tell Slomans that you heard about them on the radio, and they'll get it to you for free. Their number, 833-283-5050. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. They're going to tell you how you can get your free doorbell camera. It will change your life. And you know what? If you got kids living on their own, you should think about getting one for them because of the security that it offers, as well as the convenience. And it's kind of cool, too, never to have to get up and look through the little peephole or anything ever again. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. All right, so this abortion issue, you know, the Democrats just launched this big abortion campaign yesterday, which, I mean, you know, people are not able to fill their carts up with groceries at the grocery store because, you know, things like eggs are becoming luxury items now. And the Democrats have themselves wrapped up in abortion because they're just on another planet. And Kamala Harris, of course, had the big launch of this campaign that was just a disaster. And Robert Reich made a video about abortion. Oh my, have you guys seen this? Robert Reich was the labor secretary for Bill Clinton. And and he's talking about the economic effect of restricting abortion. When it comes to life, when it comes to children coming into the world, I mean, you know, it's cheaper to have less of them. This is really a sick, twisted man. This is Robert Reich, Bill Clinton's labor secretary. He's a college professor now, and he thinks he's an economist, even though he's never had a job outside of government or, you know, being a college professor. And this is a companion piece that he put together to go with Kamala's embarrassment of a presidency yesterday. Listen to this. Robert Reich.
Are not pro-life. They're pro-poverty and pro-inequality. I'll tell you what we can do about it in a moment, but first let me explain how these bans worsen inequalities. You've probably heard of the 2 abortion cases making their way through the courts, but it's not just Texas and Mississippi's new bans. For years, Republican state lawmakers, almost entirely white men, have been chipping...
Oh, I like how he says it. Almost entirely white men. Well, what does that mean? That they can't have an opinion? White men father a lot of those children. They shouldn't have an opinion, but he said primarily white men. What is he? You know what he is? He's a white midget is what Robert Reich is. But my good, you know, I love just how it's like a negative. White men voicing their opinions. It's bizarre. They don't even hear themselves.
Mississippi's new bans. For years, Republican state lawmakers, almost entirely white men, have been chipping away at reproductive freedom, enacting laws that lead to clinic closures, force people to travel hundreds of miles for abortions, and create near insurmountable barriers for low-income people, especially people of color.
Oh, yes, that's just what we need. We need Robert Reich to defend people of color. And you'll notice his references to black people throughout, and which is very important, which I'll talk about in a moment.
Mountable barriers for low-income people, especially people of color. Now, make no mistake, bans like those in Texas and Mississippi won't stop abortions. Wealthier people will always have access, but millions of low-income people will be forced to give birth, with dire consequences for both parent and child. Pregnant people in Texas now have to travel.
Well, hold on a second here. Dire consequences. If the pregnancy happens and goes to term and a baby's born, there's a dire consequence for the mother and the child? Really? Whatever consequences the child may have due to their situation when they're born has got to be better than the dire situation of, well, death in the womb. That's my opinion.
With dire consequences for both parent and child. Pregnant people in Texas now have to travel.
Okay, now this is another one. I tell you, this is filled with so much liberal woke BS. Notice what he said there? You know, the wokesters have been so effective, you probably didn't notice it. Pregnant people. Pregnant people, because we all now know that, well, men can get pregnant too, right? That's their new thing. It's called pregnant women. Robert Reich.
Low-income people will be forced to give birth, with dire consequences for both parent and child. Pregnant people in Texas now have to travel an average of 247 miles to get an abortion. Who but wealthier people can afford this?
Well, if you have to travel 270 miles to get an abortion, I wonder if there's an adoption center that's closer. Maybe you could go to the adoption center. It's closer, don't have the economic impact, and your child won't suffer the dire consequences of being born and raised by you, right, Robert Reich?
Only 1/3 of the lowest paid workers receive paid sick days, while 95% of the highest
Okay, now this video cuts out a couple times. I don't know why.
off from a low-wage job can mean sacrificing groceries, electricity, or gas. These restrictions worsen inequality and have lifelong effects. One study found that being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term makes it nearly 4 times more likely that parent and child will live below the poverty line.
Well, is it better for a child to live below the poverty line or be killed inside the womb? Which is worse, do you think? Being poor, not rich like him, teaching at Berkeley, or to never be born?
Also less likely to have full-time work and more likely to have public assistance 4 years later. Decades of research confirm that abortion access improves education, employment, and earnings. And the differences are especially large for Black people. It's not just economics. Restricting abortion puts people's health at risk. Researchers found that abortion legalization in the 1970s reduced deaths among Black mothers by 30 to 40%.
Yeah, but at what rate did it increase the death of Black babies? You know, this is Robert Reich, Democrat. You know, this is the thing that I've talked about quite a bit over the years when this issue comes up. And we're only talking about it again because it's in the news. Kamala's trying to launch her presidency on it. In my lifetime, the percentage of the population that is African American has been around 12%. It hovers sometimes 13%, and depending on where you are, it's higher. But nationwide, the percentage of the American population that is Black has been around 12% for 50 years since Roe v. Wade. Do you think there's a connection? Why is the Black population not 15 or 20% of the population? You know why? Roe v. Wade, because of abortion. That's why.
The Supreme Court's right-wing majority is poised to gut or even...
Yes, that's right, thanks to Donald Trump.
21 states already have laws that will go into effect to severely restrict or outright ban all abortions immediately, threatening the livelihoods and health of millions of low-income Americans. Congress must...
You know, they don't even, Robert Reich, they don't even realize that they sound like Nazis. These kids are going to be Black and poor. And he's talking about how terrible it is to be Black and poor. Well, you know what? It's not fun to be poor no matter what your skin color is. But he thinks that he is saving people from not being born Black and poor, as opposed to being white, rich, and short like him. I tell you, these people, they're Nazis, and they don't even hear themselves. All right, our number, 888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Andrea.
Oh, hey, Andrea, what's up?
That was some of the most disturbing stuff I've ever heard you play on the radio, because he's advocating for not only the elimination of people of color, but what he's essentially saying is poor people should just not reproduce.
They should not reproduce. They should not live. That's what he said. Black and poor people should not exist in the large numbers that they will if we restrict abortion rights. That's what he's saying. We have enough Black poor people already. How racist can you be?
It's incredibly racist, but this is how you know the Democratic Party is just, they're insane. Because Chuck Schumer came out and said, we have to advocate for amnesty for all these illegal aliens because the population is suffering. We need more children.
Yeah, but they're not. The Democrats are racist. They don't like black people. Okay, they used to enslave black people, and the poor people from the coming up from the southern border are not black. They're brown. They're not black. Right. Being brown and poor is okay. Black and poor, you should not live. That's what he's saying. I mean, it's Eichmann, Adolf Eichmann talk.
It's so disturbing, but I will tell you what I'm really sick of. What I'm really sick of is the Democratic Party infantilizing women with this abortion issue, because what they're doing is they're advocating for women to not have any consequences of their decisions. Pregnancy is a consequence of having unprotected sex, and it has been for years.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, if you are that irresponsible, it's called consequences to your...
Well, yeah, and during this, I didn't even play the whole thing with Robert Reich, but, he never mentions how bad it is to be born white and poor, just black and poor.
Exactly.
What is his problem with black poor people? Why does he not want them around? He doesn't seem to have a problem with Hispanics or Asians or white people that are born and are poor. Why is it black poor people that he has such a problem with?
Well, you know why, Brian.
Yeah, because he's a racist. He's a racist. He does not like black people. That's obvious.
How people can still support this party is just beyond me. It's just beyond me.
Well, I don't think they how many people heard that Robert Reich video? You have to know where to go to find these things. Most people aren't exposed to it. All right, Andrea, take care. Thanks for the call. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, W. Meyer, KHD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the
Steve Kane Show.
Injured recently, call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. A weak cold front is moving across South Florida. Not going to have too much of an impact. It'll be cooler tomorrow, but we'll see a little bit of a chance of a shower or two later on this afternoon between about 11 and 1 is the best chance. Other than that, we're going to be partly cloudy with a high of 81 degrees. I'm WPB up 25 first morning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. We're brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com. Your outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
In the Palm Beaches, the major expressways are still crash-free this morning. We do have police activity, though, at Milford Tunnel and the I-95 northbound route to Lanes Road. The off-ramp right lane is blocked, but so far just some others still on the approach. Good news in Jupiter. Earlier, multi-vehicle crash route cleared up on the Indiantown Road at Daniels Way. Still seeing snow on the 95 heading northbound from the European Beach and above. But take the turnpike instead. We're also seeing some snow on the turnpike heading south between Lake Worth Road, 95 heading southbound between Lake Worth Road and Boynton Beach Boulevard. Broward County I-75 heading northbound just before Indian Trace. A car fire is blocking the right lane. That disabled vehicle 95 heading north on a commercial boulevard. Stopping the traffic going back to Oakland Park. This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 full flavors: Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauce. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price of participation vary, tax extra. That's traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic is service of Palm Beach Kennel Club. This weekend's Ponies and Cooper at BBKC. Friday night, come out for the $10 poker party. Players to experience tournament play. And it's free for new sign-ups. Saturday, watch, wager, and win on Gulfstream Park's Pegasus World Cup in the Paddock Restaurant with over 130 new HD TVs and big screen TVs. Go to PBK.
Is it a sound check with Steve? It's working. By the way, everyone, thank the mods in the chat. You guys, the mods help so much. You know, the mods make it so that I don't have to pay attention to these low-life trolls in the chat room all the time because they handle it for me. So the mods do a great job in this chat room. No doubt about it. He's back there doing all kinds of things. He does the production. He's doing a lot of things back there, more than you think. He's playing the commercials. When we have call-ins, he calls the people up to do their call-in commercials. He does the audio production for the news and the traffic that you hear that plays on the show. There's a lot of tasks that he is charged with that he does throughout the show. And he starts at about 5:30 working on that stuff. Gavin Newsom visited the White House. Yeah, that Gavin Newsom trip was also a presidential warm-up. Absolutely. Remember, he visited Newsom when Biden was out of the country. No, the whole radio station are these great Florida colors. No. I am starving. I did that Anne-Marie's commercial too early. I try to do the Anne-Marie's commercial later in the show because it always makes me hungry. And I can't eat until after I get off the air. Let's see. Here we go. All right, the third hour of our Monday show has begun. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. I'm doing all right. Okay, seems like we got everything working. But I tell you, it's a rough day because I don't know how long you've been listening, but Robert Reich put out this. He calls it a public service. He put out what he calls a public service announcement out, and he says that there's nothing worse than being born black and poor, like Dr. Ben Carson. No good can come of that, and you should be exterminated in the womb. What a sicko.
Sick, it's outrageous, it's disgusting.
And he doesn't even see it.
But the only problem is, but you see, we don't see it either. That's the problem. This is a huge electoral political problem for us.
Yeah.
As Republicans and conservatives, and we don't understand the nature of the fight, and we basically lost tremendous influence across the country because of the abortion issue in the last election, and from what I am seeing, I don't think we learned anything from it.
No, what do you mean we lost because of it? We overturned Roe v. Wade.
I'll tell you, no. Well,
that's a good thing.
We thought it was a good thing. It looked like it.
Oh, you're wrong, Steve.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I will. And I'll tell you where you got your wrong intel on that, but go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you exactly where I get my intel is out of my brain. What the reason the liberals and the Democrats, even though they don't have a popular issue, they have made it a popular issue by changing the focus of the argument. Then all the propaganda, the anti-life propaganda that they won the last election with, and let's face it,
not over that. Not over that. Steve, Steve. All right.
Well, I'll try to sum it up real quick. Brevity is the soul of wit, they say. The problem is the liberals have reframed this issue so that it's not a question of abortion, it's a question of taking away your rights. They've made it the government has a right to tell you what to do. And that's not what the issue is. The issue is who is to make the decision. And our way of approaching it, and with the Roe v. Wade, the effect of Roe v. Wade, the decision is made by the voting public, by election. What the liberals are doing is they make the issue the government's right to tell you what to do with your body, taking away your rights, taking away your freedom. And of course, you tell that to some of these witches on the other side of the pro-choice movement, pro-life movement. I'm getting confused here early in the day. They make it an issue of losing your rights, and then these women that you see parading up and down, demonstrating in front of the homes of the judges and all that, they're trying to take away your rights. Don't you see?
Well, the women marching in front of Kavanaugh's house and stuff are never going to be pregnant. They're either gay or no man will have sex with them. But no, they don't. We're right on this issue with the pulse of the country. See, what happens, Steve, is a lot of the analysis you see on the news, people that are on television that do analysis on this, where you get a lot of what you're talking about from your analysis. These are people that are in television news, which is show business, and these women get abortions, so they look good on TV. So even they may be conservative, but they've had abortions, okay? Or, because they want to look good on TV. If they get pregnant, they might not be on TV anymore. So I know they're on the wrong side of this issue, and the fact that Robert Reich is making such a big deal.
They're dishonest about reframing the issue. They don't make it an issue of life. That's the whole thing. They don't make it an issue of life. They make it an issue of your right to do what you want with your body.
And so far as losing, Steve, we won the House of Representatives. So we didn't lose the last. Well, we still won. So what? They win gold medals by 1/100th of a millionth of a second. Who cares? We still won.
Who knows what will happen next time?
Yeah, I know. I think we're on the right side of the issue, and I think Kamala looked like an idiot. I'm talking. No. Well, Robert Reich said there's too many poor black people. There's nothing worse than being born black and poor.
This jerk.
But he's one of their leaders. Yeah.
And he's reaching the people he wants to reach.
What, racist white people that don't like blacks?
Yes.
Okay, if that's their base, racist white people that don't like blacks, that's the Democrat base. Okay.
Enough to throw the vote the other way.
But we won. We got the House. We fired Nancy Pelosi. So the vote went our way. But these women on television that are with their blonde hair dye and their shined up legs and everything have all had abortions. Because if you're sitting on the couch on cable news, and you're pregnant, well, they may replace you with somebody else on the couch, and they put things out on television that are just inaccurate analysis to feel good about what they've done. Now, there were a lot of developments in the Biden spy scandal over the weekend. Just huge developments, and
week was spectacular.
Well, this week will be just as spectacular because there's,
Take a second, don't divert the praise because you deserve it. I did a lot of listening last week because we were having some technical difficulties, and you were just right on the money. You cut right to the chase, right through all the crap, and you really nailed the issue clearly, concisely, and you presented it creatively, and I was just awestruck.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Well, wait till you hear the new updates. We'll get to after the break. And 1 week from today, Steve, we're going to be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So very exciting. Our cruise, we leave on Saturday. And I want to tell people that if major news happens, like a Biden resignation, we can break in no matter where we are on the ocean or whatever port of call we're in and go live on the radio in the morning. So, if something big happens, we will do that.
And part of something big, if you're a football fan, is the championship games that will be held next weekend. Any of the playoff games that occur while we're gone will be shown on the ship.
That's right. Yeah, they're having a special football playoff, or whatever you call it, going on.
Steve Kane fans who are also football fans, we can all watch the games together.
Well, that's just what I go on cruises for, to watch television. but you guys can. If you want to watch TV, you can watch the games.
NFL fan.
Okay. No, but they are showing the games. All right, now listen, we're going to take our first break of the last hour. We'll come back and we'll get into some of the major crimes that were exposed of Joe Biden's over the weekend since we left the airwaves at 9 a.m. on Friday. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number, 888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action.
Steve Kane Show. Oh.
Test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible, pray, and offer blessings to all who listen in the name of our Lord and Savior. Moments of Scripture, every Sunday at 6 a.m.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of the can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
You're pregnant. How far? 1 month, 2. No doctor yet. I can't afford it. Protect yourself and your baby. The health department can help you out. Test for STDs. I don't have diseases. You don't know. You don't always have symptoms. STDs make you and your baby sick. I don't want my baby sick. No one cares more about your baby than you. I'm calling my county health department.
A message from the Department of Health, Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
You might have you come into contact with someone who is sick? Are you traveling and need a COVID test? Same-day PCR testing is available at any lab test now at Boca in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto on the east side of 441. Open Monday through Saturday, no appointment necessary.
Presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. You were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing. I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate.
It's the last commercial.
The scent you gave add
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. And let me tell you, if you're in pain, you don't need to be in pain. Stop suffering. Call Dr. Appleton. He's open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. No appointment is necessary, and walk-ins are welcome. And, you know, his laser wave pain treatment not only works, I know it works, it's worked on me on 2 different types of pain and 2 different types of my parts of my body. My arthritis gone from my knee injury, that pain gone. And, you know, he treated my knee like 6 months ago. My arthritis 3 months ago. 2 treatments on my knee, pain gone, hasn't returned. My arthritis pain, 1 treatment, gone, hasn't returned. But, you know, the laser wave pain treatment works on so many different types of pain. Rotary tears, herniated discs, acute and chronic pain, fibromyalgia, strains and sprains, post-surgical pains, neck injuries, back injuries, any joint. If you're in pain, he can help. Give him a call. Make sure you mention you heard about him on the radio, because if you are a radio listener, it's a no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. All right, we're back. You with us, Steve? I guess not. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Helen from Kansas.
Yes, Helen.
Okay, well, these satanic Democrats and rhinos are dangerously calling the Lord God a liar, because he said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And he said in Isaiah 45, 18, for thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it, he hath established it forever. He created it not in vain, not void, and he formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. He said to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And they're saying that...
Well, no, well, Robert Reich isn't saying, you know, don't be fruitful and replenish the earth. He's saying do that as long as they're not poor and black.
Well, that's even more sickening.
Yeah, I know. You know, and what's crazy about it is that, you know, that audio I played was from a very highly produced video that he made inside of a professional television studio. I tweeted this. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see it. Robert Reich and the team of sickos that made the video that I shared, it never even occurred to any of them what they were saying. And I wonder if there was anyone black who worked on that.
Well, the black people need to wake up and pay attention to what these Democrats are trying to do to us.
No doubt about it. All right, Steve, you back with us? Okay, good. Yeah, so there were big developments over the weekend on the Biden spy ring. And it's really, I mean, just massive. The developments that, first off, his chief of staff, Ron Klain, is leaving in a couple weeks. That's what he says, but I think it's Klan. I think he just says it that way. I think he says Klain, so it doesn't sound like what it is. But Ron Klain, the Biden chief of staff, is resigning, and that's very significant. Biden's chief of staff, this has been talked about for 2 years, has been running the country because Biden's checked out. And his explanation for leaving is one of those that, oh, well, you know, the job's very exhausting, he's got to move on and rest and blah, blah, blah. What I think's going on with the Biden chief of staff, Ron Klain, who they call Klain, I think he's a cooperating witness with the special prosecutor. And he's got to get out, because if he stays in there, he's doing crime. So I think he's cooperating with the special prosecutor. And I'll tell you what happened before that. See, that story came out on Saturday, right? Well, Friday afternoon, late in the day, did you hear about the Biden 6? Oh, yeah. No one's heard about the Biden 6 because they don't want to put this on television. The Democrats have said since Watergate, since Nixon left, it's the cover-up that's worse than the crime, right? They've been saying that for so long. And for 68 days after the documents were found, okay, for 68 days after the documents were found in the fake think tank closet, 6 top Biden people were involved in a cover-up that he was involved in too, okay? And it was a cover-up to keep the classified document story secret from the public and the press. And they were also involved in an obstruction of justice campaign to keep the Justice Department from investigating the crime and also to try to stop the Justice Department, the Attorney General, from appointing a special counsel. And the well, that was part of it, but they kept it public long after that. They wanted it kept from the public forever, and they will because if it went public, the Attorney General would have to investigate and prosecute. So this team of 6, there's some famous people connected to it. It was led by Joe Biden's sister, Valerie. Joe Biden's sister has been the campaign manager for all of his campaigns going back to his first Senate race, okay? She led the team. Anita Dunn. Remember Anita Dunn? Remember she worked for Obama? She's that woman that had that tick where she always sticks her tongue out and licks her lips when she talks. Like a snake. Remember? Yeah, she's a Maoist. If you remember, Glenn Beck used to talk about, she was a big, remember Glenn Beck used to play that speech of her talking how great Mao was, Mao's little red book. So Anita Dunn and her husband, Joe Biden's sister Valerie, the White House counsel, and 2 other White House lawyers, this team of 6 that Biden, they say, was supervising, spent 68 days successfully keeping the story away from the public, even long after the election, and also they obstructed justice, they stopped Merrick Garland from investigating, and from appointing a special counsel. He was forced to do it when CBS News reported the story. So there's some significance to this, that the last 2 big breaks in the story, the one I had on Friday morning was about that Chinese named woman that was passing the secret to Hunter. Remember, we did that on Friday. And now the cover-up team, the Biden 6, led by Biden's sister. The last 2 big scandals have involved blood relatives of Biden. They don't have the immunity that a president has. So his sister and son are facing some hardcore criminal prosecution. I think both, and now you got the story Saturday of Ron Klain resigning as chief of staff after the State of the Union in a couple weeks. What I think's going on here, I think the chief of staff gave the story out about the Biden 6 covering this up for 68 days, and Kathy Chung, the one we talked about on Friday, stealing the secrets and giving them to Hunter to walk out of the Senate office with. And I think they've gotten, this information is big stuff. An insider would be the only one that would have it, and Ron Klain is the only one that I can think of that would have had it. Now he's leaving because he's cooperating. They're on to him. He's avoiding prosecution by, first one to make the deal gets the deal. And I think he's made a deal, Ron Klain. So a lot has happened, and Biden is in big, big trouble. I can tell you're fascinated, Steve.
Incredible.
Okay. Yeah.
This story isn't out everywhere.
Well, it will be. It will be. Now, listen, we've got to take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, we'll hear Steve's thoughts on it. Our number, 888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, when you call Youngerman today, remind him that next week is our cruise. But we have recorded playing during his call-in.
Gotcha.
You might want to tell him.
Yeah, I'll let him know.
Yeah, I'm going to call him too, but he's hard to get a hold of sometime.
Just give him a heads up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call him again. Keep this open for comments so we know Steve is he's here or not. All right, cool.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true police traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
In the Palm Beaches, the major expressways are still crash-free this morning. We do have police activity though in Boca Raton in the I-95 northbound right taking lanes will be off-road. Right lane is blocked with some barges, some understood on the approach. Good news in Jupiter, earlier multi-vehicle crash now cleared up on Indian Town Road at Daniels Way. We're still seeing start off on 95 heading northbound coming from Deerfield Beach and Boca. You can take the turnpike instead. Also seeing some start off the turnpike north and southbound approaching Lake Worth Road. 95 heading southbound between Lake Worth Road and Boynton Beach Boulevard. Broward County I-75 heading northbound just before Indian Trace. A car fire is blocking the right lane. A disabled vehicle 95 heading northbound on Commercial Boulevard. And stop and go traffic is going back to Oakland Park. This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 full flavors: Chipotle ranch and salsa verde. And bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your chicken grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra. That's traffic on Chris Moore.
Traffic and service of Palm Beach Kennel Club. This weekend's ponies and poker at PBKC. Friday night, come out for the $10 poker party, perfect for new players to experience tournament play. And it's free for Saturday, watch Wing Tread Win on Gulfstream Park's Pegasus World Cup in the Paddock Restaurant with over 130 new HD TVs and big screen TVs. Go to pbkennelclub.com for more information. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or homeowners association, and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Van Contracting. Tom will give you a free evaluation. He's been in business since 1988. His services cover the entire state of Florida. And Florida Contracting is voted the best general contractor and best roofers in Fort Lauderdale. He's honest, knowledgeable, reliable, and will never sell you. If you need a simple repair, or if you have an insurance claim, call Tom.
I'm texting with my wife here. No, it's not typical. It's not typical. You know, and it's not typical for the chief of staff to resign in the middle of a crisis, right? If he was just leaving because he wanted to leave.
My name's Sean calling from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again. I've listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem. At one session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a...
I think his name is Ron Clan, don't you guys? I mean, I'm looking how he spells it.
It's amazing. And for people out there that
Yeah, Clan.
paid, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FRE free. You'll lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in and see Dr. Appleton, the greatest visit of your life.
Give Dr. Appleton a call right now. 954-973-0710.
No, Ron Clan.
954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Appointments not necessary. And walk-ins are welcome. 954-973-0710.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326.
That's right. That's right.
1-877-275-2326.
Mark is right.
1-877-275-2326.
biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed. And a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2. Twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You with us, Steve? Yeah, I'm a little hungover today because we took a tour yesterday. Well, I did with our travel agent, Ian, and your wife, Lori, and some friends of the show and some of our listeners of the sister ship of the ship we're going on our cruise on Saturday. And the reason we did this is they wanted to give us a tour. We went on a tour of the sister ship of the one we're going on. They're identical, so we could scout out all the locations for all of our activities. And they liquored us up and gave us just an incredible lunch. And because we had to scout out all the areas, the dining rooms, all the locations and everything. And I'm just a little hungover today because of that. I didn't eat because I knew when we got there, at the end of the tour, we were going to have a gourmet lunch in one of the fine restaurants on board where we'll be having dinner. And they liquored us up before the dinner, and I was on an empty stomach, so I'm a little hungover today, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I was staggering around the ship like you would, because I was drinking, like you would have been doing if you had not gotten your neuropathy treated at Lighthouse Medical. You know, neuropathy is a crazy thing. Because doctors will tell you, including even specialists like neurologists that are supposed to be specialists in such things, there's no treatment for neuropathy. And that's not true. Lighthouse Medical Center not only has a treatment for neuropathy, they have a treatment that works. It's worked in you, Steve. I've talked to many of our listeners that have just go on and on about how Lighthouse Medical Center has changed their life. You know, those neuropathy symptoms that your doctor says you just got to live with, you don't have to. Pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet, dizziness. That's a big one. Oh, yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one. It's like I was doing after I had the champagne, well, the second glass of champagne, and then I had that those mojitos, and then those pina coladas, and I was kind of like you, Steve. The loss of balance was, I was feeling like I had neuropathy. But Lighthouse Medical Center, one of the things that's just amazing about them is that it is a medical practice that has been in practice with the same family. This year is their 51st year. I think they're probably, and this is the same family. It's not a medical practice that someone sold and then someone bought and they keep the name. The same medical practice with the same family. This is their 51st year in Pompano, like a founding family of Broward County, and I believe they very well may be the longest medical practice, the longest practicing medical practice in Broward County. 51 years in Broward County with the same family. That's a tough one to beat, Steve. It's a no-charge consultation if you mention you heard about them on the radio. Here's their number. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. One more time, that's 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. So, no, let me get back to this thing with the chief of staff, okay? Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain. They say Klain. I call him Klan. I don't know. It looks like it. But anyway, his chief of staff is leaving after the State of the Union, okay? And the media are telling you, oh, this is normal, you know, he's been doing it for no. This guy, next to no matter who the president is, the second most powerful person in Washington is the White House chief of staff. They run everything, especially with this guy. And people have been reporting for 2 years that Ron Klain has been running the country. And he has. And the White House right now is in the middle of a major crisis. He would not be leaving during a crisis because he's tired. And the development, see, this is an amazing thing that's going on because there's been several things that have happened, right? Remember last week, I had some audio from Jean-Pierre, and she was asked, when did you learn about the illegal documents? She says, when CBS News reported it was the first I heard about it. She wanted everyone to know she had no knowledge of this criminal activity, and that also means she had no knowledge of the Biden 6 cover-up team obstructing justice, right? So, and the stories that have come out, and the stories that came out on Friday, okay, the story on the Chinese, the name, Kathy Chung, remember we were talking about her all day Friday. Kathy Chung ran Biden's vice presidential office when he was vice president at the Senate office and gave all that classified intel to Hunter that Hunter walked out with. That's where the documents came from. Okay, that's a huge bombshell. And then we got Friday afternoon, late in the day, about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, this story broke that Joe Biden had his sister put together this team of 6, the Biden 6, to cover up the story, cover up the crime, and put pressure on the Attorney General not to investigate or appoint a special counsel. Those two developments, the Kathy Chung and then the Biden 6 cover-up team, the plumbers, those are big developments that only an insider would know to leak. And I think Ron Klain, the chief of staff, gave that information out. I think he's cooperating with the special counsel. I think he's a cooperating witness, and I think he is the source of these huge bombshells that have come out. Because Saturday it announced he was leaving. Who would leave? What chief of staff who's running the whole country would leave that job, that power, that prestige, and when the White House is in crisis? A guy who's cooperating. He can't hang around, because if he hangs around, he's going to have to take part in this cover-up. Exactly. Now that it's public, the whole White House's mission is starting to transist into covering up these crimes. He's got to get out. He can't be a witness if they can't let him do crime. It's like the undercover narcotic cops can't do drugs when they're, you know what I mean? He can't do crime. So they got to get him out of there so he doesn't do crime. And I don't understand why even what's supposed to be conservative media aren't putting all these things together. I don't get it. Because I don't know. I mean, I can't be the only one that sees all this.
Others that see it, our friend Michael Goodwin on the New York Post did a story that pretty much dealt with the same issues. There are a few people that are starting, and then there are people that see it that are afraid to go public with it. They're afraid of the repercussions.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Well,
They're not the most savory people you'll ever do business with.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make some because Ron Klain leaving, the chief of staff. Yeah.
Your suggestion.
Mm.
I appreciate the thing with Ron Klain. It's kind of cute and all that, but it's going to confuse people as the story becomes increasingly public. I think, in the interest of helping people to understand a complex situation, I think you ought to go back.
I'll try. Or we'll just call him Biden's chief of staff. How about that? But here, but that's not his name. Oh, well, Ron Klain, the chief of staff. But now he's out. He's out. Okay. The question is, who's going to be next? There's no doubt he's leaving over what I just said, and I'm telling you, that is the top official to get out. The next one to leave, I think, is going to be, I'm talking about a high-profile person, is Jean-Pierre. Because I watched all of her briefings last week, because well, not only is she having a breakdown, they're going to force her out, because she really put her foot down to let people know she has nothing to do. Yeah, that she's not involved in she had no knowledge, she's not involved in any cover-ups, she knows nothing. So they need somebody up there who's compromised. They need somebody up there who's going to cover up their crimes and spin it, and she's obviously not willing to do it. I think Jean-Pierre is going to be next. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, she had this offer from CNN where her wife works or whatever. I don't know, but no, she will be the next one to leave, and I think it's going to be. I mean, how long can she stay up there like that? Last week was a rough week for her. She's very uncomfortable with this whole thing. Oh.
Comfortable doesn't quite capture it.
Do you know how bad it's got to be for a black, gay, immigrant Democrat White House press spokesperson to feel uncomfortable? You know, people like that, they have nobody ever questions them or gives them a hard time. They don't want to be called anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-gay. And she's under it, man, and she can't, I mean, she can't handle it. Now, listen, we're going to take our last break of the show, and we'll have the Gold Report. We have a few minutes left. If you have some thoughts you'd like to share, feel free to give us a call, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take that break and be right back with the Gold Report.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time, as we do each morning at this time, to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting off the week?
Starting off a little bit lower, giving us a buying opportunity that we haven't seen for several weeks. So take advantage of it if you've been waiting to get a little bit of a pullback. We saw the week last week close down $5.90 on Friday after trading in a range of $1,920 to $1,938, closing out the week at $1,926.30, down $5.90. Silver was up 7 cents on the week, closing out the week at $23.91, while platinum gained $6 on Friday, closing out at $1,042, and palladium was down $22 at $16.50. As I said, the pullback continues this morning, giving us a nice buying opportunity back down to $1,921.50 on gold right now. That's down $4.80 after trading in a range so far this morning of $1,919 all the way up to $1,936 last night. Silver trading in a range overnight at $23.60 to $24.25, and now pulling back some 51 cents right now at $23.40 the ounce. Platinum down $2 at $1,040, and palladium down $10 at $1,640. So it sounds like a great day, Brian, to come in and take advantage.
Yeah, it does. I mean, a pullback over 1,900 gold. We're in pullback territory, so you want to start loading up. Now, William, can you tell people who can't make it in, maybe they're in another part of town or maybe they're in another state or country, how they can do business with you over the phone and have the metals sent to them?
Yes, indeed. All you have to do is call us, set up a little bit of an account, and lock in a price immediately. You can wire the funds, and the precious metals are shipped out the same day or the very next day to you, fully insured.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can call us, lock in a price, and then come in at your convenience and wire the money.
Yeah, and Monday morning's a great morning to do that. You know, the gold markets are closed over the weekend. They open up Sunday night. So you get these dips on Monday like you're getting right now, and and William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can be right there on the line at 10 a.m. The number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building in Boca, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and we are back. Just a few minutes left in today's show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number, 888-GO-CANE1. You know, this problem they have, though, Steve, is Biden doesn't even accept he did anything wrong. You see, I was talking about this before you joined us. Eventually, the press are going to start investigating. Right now, they're not investigating. All these stories are just being handed to them, like they found more records yesterday. You know, the records they found over the weekend, I guess they found them on Saturday, and it was reported yesterday. That was the 5th stash of illegally held classified documents by Joe Biden. 5th stash. And the feds did a 13-hour search of Biden's home. 13 hours. I mean, think about that. And, after they let them have 2 weeks to just go through and do whatever it is they wanted. But there's a couple things where the press haven't even asked the right questions yet, right? Because they're not thinking clearly. One, we haven't even gotten to the details of what subject matter these documents are about. That's a big one. But what I'm starting to wonder is, how long has Biden been doing this? You know, he had, the number of records we're hearing, we don't have a number.
It goes back to
these documents were documents that he nabbed when he was vice president and had access, right? We know that. The number of documents and how classified they were, this is not a first offense. This is the first time he got caught. So I'm guessing and thinking that he's been stealing secrets his whole career since he's had access to them. And he was a senior United States Senator for decades. He had access to classified intel for the last 50 years.
second job.
That's right. Yeah, it was like, maybe it was his main job, Steve, not his second job. Maybe it was his primary job, the vice presidency and the Senate, and so that's one level. How long has he been taking classified documents? And I think for a long time. The second question is, do you think he just stopped doing this when he became president? Come on. Somebody like this, they get away with it, and they get deeper into it. They make bigger deals. They take a bigger risk. So those are some questions that the press aren't even getting into yet, But there's not a single investigative journalist in the mainstream media looking into this. All these stories are just being handed to them. There's no Woodward and Bernstein out there. We're the closest. Kane and Craig. We're the new Woodward and Bernstein. We'll get the movie and the novel.
Bring to it.
Yeah. Dustin Hoffman can play you, and
Robert Redford.
Well, Robert Redford, the way he looks now, he can play you. Brad Pitt can play me. Tom Cruise, and you'll get the current Robert Redford. I'll get Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a little older than me, but whatever. He's Tom Cruise. All right, let's take some calls though before we sign off for today. But this is a big developments over the weekend on this. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Jay, truck driver.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
Nothing. I got you on YouTube. I didn't be a little bit behind on this, but it was put on Maria Bartiromo's show and this morning that the doc.
Oh, they cut it. They interfered with his signal right as he was giving us the scoop. Hold on, I would usually just let him go. Let's see. Wait, slow down, caller. Your cell cut out. We missed the whole meat of your call. You had something. Go back. Start over. Maria Bartiromo, and then this morning, and then you went dead.
All right. Yesterday and this morning. Okay, Maria Bartiromo and this morning. They found documents that go back to when he was a senator.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Documents. And also there's a part of Chinatown, I'm from Boston originally. Boston has like a Chinatown part of there. They found documents in the Chinatown part of Washington, whatever that is. So that's being reported. That was yesterday on.
Well, that's obviously where the CCP hang out, is in Chinatown. That's amazing. So I asked the question. We already got it answered. So he's been a lifelong career, I guess, spy. I mean, is the president a spy?
Maria brought up treason, and who's the guy's name now? Is it Jack something? I'm sorry, the Republican who's investigating this. He didn't really. He paused, but he didn't say yes, it is. But he just said, we're looking into all of it. But
wow,
this could be treason.
Yeah, could be. I think it is. All right, thanks for the call. That's amazing. So now we have confirmation all the way back. They now know, it's being reported by Maria Bartiromo on Fox News, that he was taking classified secrets all the way back to the Senate days, which is a little vague because he went to the Senate when Nixon was in the White House. So at what point Did he? Yeah, really. At what point did he start taking the classified information? My goodness. My goodness. You know, the other problem they really have, Steve, is that Biden doesn't think he's done anything wrong. He's criminally insane.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I don't think it's going to help him.
Hey, how many pairs of MyPillow slippers do you have?
Two with the third on the way.
Really? Oh my goodness. Well, I know your wife was saying that you wanted to know if you could wear your MyPillow, My Slippers to the dining room on the cruise, and
black pair.
You could probably get away with the black pair, the charcoal pair, the MyPillow, My Slippers. But the reason I ask is, you know, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and you could take advantage of any special you see at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout. But there's not just the ones I highlight. I just share with you what I think are the best deals and the must-haves. But every item at mypillow.com you can purchase and take advantage of the deal with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. But the two best Valentine's Day gifts you can get, this is a reverse order, but the MyPillow, My Slippers, which are just $59.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, $59.98. And cool thing about it is Mike Lindell came out with a whole bunch of new sizes. Smaller sizes that can even fit children, and larger sizes and wider sizes. These are all new sizes that they didn't have, both larger, wider, and smaller, which he didn't have before, and also a whole bunch of new colors of the MyPillow, My Slippers. They make great Valentine's Day gifts, especially if you get with it the MyPillow bathrobe. I have one of these bathrobes. I have the slippers too. My wife has a bathrobe. The MyPillow bathrobe with our promo code Kane, they're doing a closeout sale from after Christmas. Just $59.98 for the MyPillow bathrobe. $59.98. And by the way, did you hear the hammering, Steve? No, it's over here. The upstairs, I think we got some Democrats upstairs. They decided to hammer above a radio studio, broadcasting on the radio at the office upstairs. I think the Lincoln Project has an office upstairs. But anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear it on the radio, but it's funny. Whatever. Hammer away, Lincoln Project, okay? It won't stop me. But the MyPillow bathrobes, just $59.98 with our promo code Kane. And by the way, that's in all the colors, the robes for men and women, both the light and the heavy robes. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Well, that last call of the truck driver, you know, I mean, that's huge. So Biden's been doing this his entire life. And, you know, the thing is that now they're good. When they start looking into it, because they've only searched one of his houses. He's got a whole bunch of houses, you know, and at some point, are people going to say, how did a guy who spent his whole life dedicated to public service afford all these mansions and beach houses and things? Are they ever going to start asking that?
I think they already are.
Well, we know. The box is in the garage. I mean, that's how, you know, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And, you know, this guy, see, he had gotten, this is the thing, okay? I told you guys when I read Laptop from Hell, which is Miranda Devine's masterpiece, which should be re-released with some updates on the DOCU-GATE. It's a great book, and I would recommend getting the book on tape. You should get the book on tape, Steve. The guy that narrates it, it's amazing. But anyway, the reason that he became president again and ran for president is because the family was broke. You know, everybody is living a high lifestyle in his family, extended family as well. And so he came back to the White House because they blew the money to make more money. See, I told you what happened was he had everything set up for Beau Biden to become the senator and keep the corruption going. But sadly, he passed. And Hunter's not electable, right? So Biden had to come out of retirement to make enough money to set his family up, okay? Because they had spent all the money. So all this spy work that he's been doing, you know, or I should say taking these classified documents, all the way, he'd gotten away with this for 50 years, but his greed and the excesses of his family's lifestyle forced him to get back into circulation, and he got caught. He got away with this crime for 50 years, and now he got caught. You know, I tell you, that's the way, that's right. That's right. Well, listen, guys, we are, if you have not noticed in the last week, we're about 2 weeks ahead of the rest of the media. And we're going to continue to be, because I am all over this story. And, you know, this story, Steve, is, I think it's the most scandalous spy scandal in the history of the country. And now that we know that it's going back to when he was a senator, we've never seen anything like this, because he has access to things that others couldn't even fantasize about having access to, that have been busted for espionage in our past.
Have they destroyed in the process?
I don't think they destroyed too much, because, you know, if they got the classified documents, they always got a story. Oh, I just brought them home for my biography. If you destroy them, that's a whole nother level of crime. Listen, we're out of time for today. But listen, if you miss a portion of the show, each morning, about an hour after we go off the air, the entire show is uploaded to our radio station website in podcast form. So if you missed a part of the show, and they're archived forever, or you missed a show, shame on you. You can go to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, and catch it. Maybe you called in, you want to hear your call, trueoldiesfla.com, and each day the entire show is uploaded and archived there as a podcast, so check that out. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow bright and early at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane has been here. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll tell you, the seminar callers are back. That's how bad it's gotten for Biden, but that's okay. And those Lincoln Project guys upstairs, keep hammering away. You're not going to stop us. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m.